Welcome to AfterClass. I am your host, Anantya. Our show tonight concerns everyone's favorite topic of conversation during therapy: bad parenting. If you're a new parent, know a parent, or just mutter the word diaper near your phone, prompting our reptilian social media overlords to flood your feed with parenting tips, you've probably come across the term FAFO.
New parenting trend is FAFO.
F around and find out.
This parenting approach, the Wall Street Journal says, prioritizes direct consequences.
Yes, FAFO. An acronym for fuck around and find out is the latest parenting trend doing the rounds. Here's a clip of Dr. Becky, a parent influencer, eloquently explaining the concept to new audiences.
Let me explain some kind of examples that bring it to life. My kid wants to run around outside without shoes? All right. You're going to fuck around and find out what it feels like to step on a nail.
Right. Basically, the radical idea that instead of rushing in to rescue your kids every time they face trouble, you just let them screw up and learn the hard way. And while you may or may not agree with this approach, it's led to some undeniably hilarious moments, such as this kid who fucked around and found out the consequences of helping himself with too much hot sauce.
Which one is that? Is that this one? Which one did you put on there? You did that all on your own, bro. I did not give that to you.
I can't decide what's my favorite part of that clip. The way the mom coolly says, "You did that all on your own, bro," or the way the boy contorts his face to create a lifelike resemblance of an Edward Monk pastel. And while it can be amusing to watch these ridiculous clips of kids facing the repercussions of their actions, which, let's be honest, is just karma for every time they've kept an entire overnight flight awake, it's worth pausing to ask how we got to a point where filming your child shivering in the cold because they forgot their jacket has become a model for good parenting for thousands of people online. So tonight, let's take a moment to understand how we got to FAFO, what has made this trend so popular among parents, and whether it's actually a good thing. To start off, you need to understand that the concept of modern parenting, at least the way we understand it, is a foreign concept. Thomas Hobbes, an English philosopher, writing in the 16th century, once said that man's life in the natural state is nasty, brutish, and short. Exactly how Napoleon would describe himself in his Tinder bio. And while I wouldn't ordinarily pay much heed to a person who looks like if Jigsaw spent his summer studying PPE at Oxford, historically, it's hard to deny that for most ordinary people, life was just that.
Peasants make up about 80% of the European population in the medieval period. They are seen as almost property in parcel with the land. That sounds pretty bad, and to be honest, it is pretty bad. Being unfree isn't anybody's first choice.
That is a shocking understatement. That would be like me describing that interviewee's outfit as unfashionable, instead of what it really looks like. The zebra from Madagascar trying to escape the zoo by disguising himself as a professor of medieval history at Barnard. For the average medieval man, and I say man because women who wanted to say in financial planning were probably burned at the stake, there were only 3 reasons to have kids. The first is that you needed cheap manual labor. The second is that you made a mistake because the only form of contraception at the time was wearing an amulet made of beaver gonads. And then you needed to replace the firstborn son who died of the bubonic plague. The actual raising of these children meant teaching them economic responsibilities and marrying them off young, not play dates, curfews, or supervision. And this was the common attitude towards parenting for ages. Starting in the 20th century, a number of developments, from global prosperity that requires our dependence on kids for work, to cultural recognition that, hey, maybe we shouldn't treat 5-year-olds as chimney sweeps, created a completely new idea of parenting. Perhaps the biggest shift, though, came from psychology. Freud, who introduced some interesting takes on family life, made parenting about something more than raising kids, providing adults with enough material to keep the therapist employed for decades. Fast forward to today, and we've landed at the extreme opposite corner. Parents don't just love and support their children, they feel relentless pressure to perfect them. And this pressure has spawned a whole glossary of parenting styles, from helicopter parents who hover anxiously over every move, to lawnmower and snowplow parents who clear away every obstacle before the child can stumble. And of course, the classic tiger mom, who sees anything less than straight A's, a Harvard acceptance, and a piano recital at Carnegie Hall as a failure and dishonor to the family.
Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Yet research also shows that how bad this can be for children. It can cause them heightened anxiety, chronic stress, and reduced resilience. Just watch this viral clip of what happens when a young Venus Williams, one of the great tennis players of all time, sits down with a slightly persistent reporter.
I know I can do this. it so easily.
Well, you got to understand that you're dealing with an image of a 14-year-old child. And this child gonna be out there playing with your whole ass and he gonna be in the grave.
Again, this isn't unusual at all. Most new parents today grew up under perfectionist, hyper-involved parenting, so of course they're looking for new influences to guide them. Because when your childhood felt like a never-ending cross-examination at the O.J. Simpson trial, you're not exactly eager to put your own kids on the witness stand. Hence, exciting new trends such as FAFO, which ostensibly seem to be grounded in research and common sense principles, can seem highly appealing. However, what underlies the popularity of these trends is the desire for parents themselves to be perceived as perfect. The truth is, FAFO isn't a revolutionary idea. It's just one of the many stops along the Ferris wheel of parenting fads. And in many ways, it's a reaction to the kind of gentle parenting that has dominated popular online parenting circles, leading to frustrated reactions from Gen Xers such as this one.
Yeah, hi, Gen X here, Jono. 1970 model, new parenting trend, FAFO, F around and find out, as a new parenting trend. William, I'm gonna count to 77 and a half to give you a moment to center yourself and to be all right with your feelings. Yeah, no.
Easy as it is to get influenced by what's trending on the internet, most experts agree that there is no one correct way to parent and that such fads focus on all the wrong things.
Problem is that parenting books send conflicting messages. Tiger parenting or free-range parenting? The one consistent message is that if your child isn't succeeding, you're doing something wrong.
Exactly. FAFO parenting could be healthy. Letting kids fail in safe ways is actually great. But the moment it becomes a TikTok trend, it's not really about raising children and doing what's best for them. It's about raising parents' personal brands. Clearly, raising children based on whatever is trending on TikTok this week is a bad idea. But the thing is, our social system encourages exactly that. There are entire industries and even a popular culture that profit off the pressure on parents to raise perfect children. Parenting is today a $70 billion industry. Every year brings a new gadget, app, or an AI tool designed to remind you what a terrible job you're doing. Baby monitors that track oxygen levels, strollers that cost more than used cars, toys that promise to raise IQ, and of course, a $300 white noise machine. Because how else will your baby sleep without a Tesla Cybercot? The obsession with being a perfect parent is also tied directly to education, starting not in high school, not in middle school, not even in kindergarten, but in the blood sport of nursery school admissions. Watch this new broadcaster talking about how New York parents have to go to immense lengths just to ensure their kids are admitted to the best schools.
New York parents often turn to kindergarten consultants, some paying as much as $30,000 to get their child into the best school. For private schools, 5-year-olds must have strong recommendations from their preschool director.
$30,000 in tuition and recommendation letters for 3-year-olds? At this rate, we're only a few years away from your toddler announcing they're dropping out of preschool because it stifles his innovation. Then come the blog posts, books, and lecture tours, many of them led by people with absolutely no business giving advice. Like this one TikTok family who proudly revealed how they gave their 3-year-old padded shoes so he could sneak into rides at Disney. Right. Because clearly Disney's height requirements aren't about safety, but an elaborate plot by the evil queen to stop the 7 dwarfs from having any fun. So yes, parents might look crazy whether they're helicoptering, bulldozing, or fafoing, but the truth is they're reacting to a culture designed to make them feel inadequate. Because when there's money to be made from selling the perfect child, everyone wins. Well, of course, except the actual kid. So what advice do I, a 27-year-old man whose only parenting experience comes from raising puffles and club penguin? Puffles who inevitably abandoned my igloo because I refused to give them enough real money to feed them? What could I offer you? And yes, it is a little ironic that I've spent the last 5 minutes telling you not to take advice from social media, only to turn around and give you some myself. Which is why I won't. Instead, I will leave you with this. Parenting isn't about crowning one style that is a winner. You don't need to be a helicopter, a lawnmower, or a tiger mom every day. Parenting is about keeping those styles in your back pocket. The same way you keep an excuse ready for that one friend who insists on dragging you to escape rooms. Even though the real puzzle is how you'll escape that friendship. And real wisdom is in adapting. It's knowing that excellence matters, but success can be devotion to anything. Teaching dance, restoring habitats, or even draping saris. In fact, here's a kid whose parents let him chase his passion for making dresses. Where is he now? Plotting to slide into Anna Wintour's chair in Vogue in a real-life sequel to TDWP? Convincing Prada that Kolhapuri chappals are worth $800 if you just call them heritage sandals? I'm not sure. But spoiler alert, he's thriving. More than anything, parents pass down values. They teach their children to become the best selves, not through words, but through example. And if you're lucky, we get some really sweet moments like this one.
You quit that.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
When you take these myths off the table, what's left are values that actually matter. Unconditional love, quality time, and honest communication. The things you already knew deep down, even before you clicked on the latest blog or parenting hack video. So no, I don't have a parenting strategy for you, but what I do have is a wish. That you stop trying to be the perfect parent and instead, just be the very real one that your child needs. So good night, stay classy, and I'll see you next time.